Hello, folks. Good evening and welcome to another midweek here. It's Ash Wednesday in much of Christendom, so we share the sentiments with you. And it's also Lovers' Evening. I thank you. Welcome. I'm Citizen Jones Hussein. On the program this evening, federal government spends 1.19 trillion naira to assist states in paying salaries. And later on, manufacturers' power demand hit 14,882 megawatts, but they want stranded 2,000 megawatts added to it. I'll be hanging out with Baba Jide Kolade Otitoju. Jide, welcome.
I greet you.
I greet you too. And we have Wale Adedayo. I haven't seen you in a while now.
I've been running up and down.
Yeah, great you here on a Valentine evening.
Oh, well,
So
as soon as I leave here, I think I've got places.
It's not appropriately dressed
No, right.
for Valentine's Day.
I'm in Nigeria.
You're supposed to be in red.
Red? No, about. I know be on mission go now.
Okay, then we are ready to go. I hope you are ready. Please feel welcome. All right, then, as at the last count, the federal government had spent a whopping 1.19 trillion naira on bailing out the 36 states in the area of salaries and financing other development projects throughout the country. Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo made this stunning disclosure at the Kogi State Economy and Investment Summit on Tuesday. The number 2 citizen confessed that the bulk of the funds came from the excess crude account, ECA, and the Paris Club refund and other loans. Jide, the occasion, august enough as they say, and this revelation, it remains a mockery, and some would say a travesty of democracy to have federating units run to the center all the time to get bailed out.
It's a pathetic situation because a lot of the states are glorified local governments. I still know states that cannot even pay the current minimum wage because the current minimum wage is not a living wage. It's best paid to slaves. But there are states that can't pay.
Your words.
Yes. Because it's just, you pay someone that little and is expected to go to work every day. Is it from it that is also expected to feed his children, send them to school, clothe them? So we know that the current minimum wage cannot take anybody anywhere. So there's a need for an upward adjustment. But we are saying that there are states, to tell you, to underline the fact that we have states that are just not profitable in inverted commas now. We have states that are not profitable. They can't survive on their own. Without racing to the center to go and get those handouts, they simply can't survive. And if you recall in December, there was serious argument between the Federal Minister of Finance and finance commissioners from the different states. They actually even rejected what was supposed to go to the state. They said, no, this money is not enough. So they had to reschedule another meeting. Because what comes to states from the Federation account in a season of declining revenue is just not enough to pay their bills. So what Buhari has done is, out of a desire to not see people suffer, let us see how we can help some of these states come out, be able to pay worker salaries. I've always said that, look, paying worker salaries is not enough because there are governors that, if they had not found a way to concentrate on infrastructure development, they would not have been re-elected. So what governors now do, the painful thing governors now do is, they will go and take loans, spend the loans on building roads, building bridges, building schools, and all that. Some of them actually go ahead to build churches and mosques, from the loans that they take. And then what comes from the federation account, they just spend on paying salaries. Because if you don't pay salaries of workers, those workers will ensure that you don't get re-elected. You can say they are just about 5% of the population, but they have dependents. On every worker, you probably have 20 people who benefit one way or the other from
directly.
It. Yeah. Yes. So if you don't pay them, they will badmouth you thoroughly. In the papers, everybody will be saying, oh, who is this governor who cannot pay salaries? So people don't want to know why that governor is finding it difficult to pay salaries. So what governors do is, okay, we pass the burden of payment or repayment of loans to the government that will come after them. Yeah. That's what happened in Bayelsa, for example. Dixon is struggling to pay back loans that Silva took.
All right. Wale, the vice president also said the bailouts are entitlements of states, but that some others were loans expected to be paid back in the future.
I think we need to get some things right. Personally, I don't believe the federal government is bailing out the states. One, if you are saying that the federal government is bailing out the states, that means that the federal government has some money, which is part of what was appropriated for the federal government by the National Assembly, because federal government cannot spend any money outside of what has been appropriated for it by the National Assembly. Now, this money we are talking about doesn't belong to the federal government alone. You are talking about the SS Crude account, you are talking about Paris Club reform, for God's sake. It belongs to the three tiers of government: states, federal, and the local government. That is what makes up the federation account. If the money is coming from the federation account, then for God's sake, it is not federal government's money. It is the money that belongs to all of them. Fine, it is the executive president of Nigeria who will initiate moves that, look, let's look at this thing. Or maybe one or two of the governors might have raised it. Look, we still have money somewhere there now. We have challenges. Let's look at it. But to me, the propaganda that has been coming out of it is like it's the federal government that is helping. He said, no, I disagree. The money does not belong to the federal government. The money belongs to everybody. It is not just federal government's money. But that is just part one of the story.
The first bailout.
That's part
Let's
one.
talk about the first bailout.
No, I'm not even talking about the first bailout. He's talking about everything now. See, whatever money is coming from the SS Crude account, and whatever money Nigeria as a country has somewhere, that money does not belong to federal government. It belongs to Federal Republic of Nigeria. And the federal government is just one of the three tiers of government in Nigeria. That's one. Then the other one you need to consider is this. He was talking about inabilities of states to be viable or whatever like that. It will take us back to the question of restructuring, which to me cannot happen in this dispensation, because this dispensation, to me personally, is not different from the immediate past dispensation. A lot of people are benefiting from the mess created in 1966 through the Unification Decree. And up till tomorrow, that is what is still there. And because they are benefiting from it, such people will never, ever want Nigeria to be restructured. Yeah. And as long as Nigeria is not restructured, you're just postponing the evil day, because no matter how many times you bail out states, similar things will still happen in the future. Because what everybody has been expecting, because like he rightly pointed out, it is because of the drop in allocations going to the states that they are having problems. When crude oil prices were high, they were getting as much money.
There used to be, there's something like internally generated revenue.
Yes, wait, I'll come to the internally generated revenue. You can only talk about that. Yes, it's good, but it's not something that will come in 24 hours or even in a month or in a year. You can only talk about internally generated revenue in a state where the previous administration has laid some solid foundation for industries to move in, or for people to site industries there, or for things that will, make people set up businesses. Yeah. What do you call internally generated revenue? It's tax, for God's sake. It is either you tax your own employees or you tax private sector employees. In a state that you don't have private industry, you don't have industries, who are you going to tax?
But you heard the news before that many governors couldn't care a hoot about how much is generated internally.
I know, I'm aware of that. But part of that is also the fact that how many industries are in those states. And like I said earlier, there is this thing about the unification of Nigeria, the 1966 Unification Decree, that makes people have a sense of entitlement to free all money from the Niger Delta. For God's sake, whatever resources you have in your area should be yours. Just pay taxes to the federal government, end of story. That is what it will push people, to those who do not want to pursue credible IGR or IGR that is viable, it will push them to go and look for money. But when you know that you have free money, free all money flowing from, for God's sake, why should you stress yourself when there's free money coming? That is one of the challenges we have. So by the time you are still asking them to go and generate IGRI, for God's sake, you are just wasting your time, because a lot of these guys don't even want to exert their brain.
Yeah, back to Jide, even though you flew it as a kite, it's something you could broach for 60 seconds. Many states are not, repeat, underline, are not viable.
Yes.
So you can't reverse yourself at this. It's too late in the day.
Yeah, many of those states are just not viable. If you look at the capacity of the states to generate internal revenue, you see that apart from Kano, Rivers, Lagos, Ogun, to some extent, because internally generated revenue from Ogun State oscillates between 5 and 7 billion, 7 billion a month, you know, and even that is not enough. If you look at what the state has to do, the state has far more tertiary institutions than any other state in Nigeria, you know, and there are bills to pay. So, in my view, what Ogun State generates is still not enough. People think they generate so much because they are close to Lagos, so there are a few industries, but they don't generate enough. Ogun State would be a much better place.
When you hear Nigerians don't pay tax.
That is true. That is true. But you see, what has helped Ogun is the agreement with Lagos State that people who are resident in Ogun State but who work here should pay their tenement in Ogun State.
We have a fixed spot. We'll go for the commercial break. We'll come back here. We're talking money here. Please don't go away. Okay then, welcome back. It's no longer news. Mr. Vice President, the #2 citizen, has revealed that at least 1.19 trillion has been expended by the federal authorities in the area of bailing states out. Question, will this go on interminably? When would it end? Would it end very soon? It's something that should bother the man at the bus stop, Wale.
No. What I'm saying is, and I'll repeat that again, it is not federal government's money. We need to correct that impression. It is not federal government. The money belongs to all of them.
The
federal
#2
states and local
man
governments.
is a lawyer.
Yes, I know.
Oh,
He can be a lawyer.
I wanted to get
sake,
to that.
It is not federal government's money.
You'll get there.
He said the money, according to him, is from the excess crude account. The excess crude account
and
money.
the Paris Club refund.
Yes, it doesn't belong to the federal government alone. It belongs to all of them. So if you are giving me part of my money, if you are giving my money, you are not doing me a favor per se. Once we agree on the mode of sharing.
But you had also agreed that since 1966, the rule is that the center must control every resource.
That's what I'm saying. But at some point, on a monthly basis, there is what we call allocation sharing. That every month...
Who does the sharing?
The three of them, they agree in Abuja. And this is how we're going to do. There's a formula for sharing. The federal has its own, state have their own, and the local governments have their own. And the money is disbursed like that. But what am I saying? You raise an issue. Will this or should this continue like this? It might continue irrespective of the fact that crude oil prices go up. Until we restructure Nigeria, things like this will continue. Until we go back to that point where that unification decree was introduced, we remove that unification decree and we go back to where we were before, so that things will be the way they are. A lot of things are in Lagos, for instance, that the Lagos state government could do on its own without recourse to the center. Yeah. But because of the laws in place, because of the way the constitution is, there are so many things that, for instance, if we look at the Nigeria police in Lagos, for God's sake, how much is the federal government giving to them? Even their budget, the money they budget for them, how much of it did they get before the end of the year? Remove the hands of the Lagos state government from police in Lagos and the whole thing has crashed, just like the states that are looking for bailouts. You will see some policemen on the road and you'll be shocked at the kind of person. What kind of vehicle are they going to be driving around? When it was the last time federal government bought patrol vehicles for them, not to talk about guns, body armor and things like that. So what we're saying is that there should be restructuring of Nigeria, a change in the laws that has brought us together. Until that is done, then you continue repeating things like this.
He has taken us to 1966 in a manner of speaking. Do you know Decree 34 of 1966 has not been repealed?
Well, that doesn't bother me as much as some of what he said, because...
Okay, let's even go there.
Yeah,
and that's money does not belong to the federal authority.
No, it's wrong there. Yes, I know where it's coming from. The Constitution says all monies that, the country generates
are vested,
must be shared by the three. Now, if out of what the federal government had in excess, the federal government saw that states were suffering, were finding it difficult to pay. You know, the federal government gets more than the other two tiers of government combined. Now, if the federal government, out of the excess that it had, felt that, look, let me help some of these states, and then it made money available to be shared by them. It did not just do that. The federal government also called the debt management office and said, see, for some of these states, let us have this payment schedule, payment of this debt rescheduled, so that it can give them room, a kind of breather. For example, because all of those states, for some of them, once you, maybe the tenure of a loan was 24 months, and then it got to this point for those states. President Buhari called the DMO people and said, see, reschedule these debts, make it more flexible for them to pay, so that they can have something left to pay their workers. Yeah. It did. I was aware of that. And when he decided that he was going to give that money to the states, I'm not talking of SS crude account now. I'm not talking of the profits from the liquefied gas company that states shared. I'm talking about money, federal government money that it loaned states. So that is different. And if we are talking about the country, yes, whatever comes is supposed to be shared. I don't know why they even came up with that idea, because governors that decided to take Goodluck Jonathan to court at that time, this was what they cited. That, look, you can't go and save money. You can't save money because this is what the law says. Part of the sovereign wealth account should have grown higher than this. Yeah. But because they went to court, some of the governors who went to court are in government today. You see? If you look at what Norway has saved in the SS crude account, you look at what we have saved, even Ghana, you look at what Ghana has saved, you will see that we have really not done anything. Because the law says every money that we make must be shared. There is no conditionalities attached, just shared.
Does it tell who must share the money?
No, that the three of them must share.
Belongs to everybody now. That's
that is not the
somebody does the sharing.
No, they come together. That's why we have those, all the finance commissioners. I told you that in December they disagreed and said, no, we are not sharing this. And they went back to their state. Then another meeting was called where they now came to some agreement, because in December they all wanted more money. So the point is, those state commissioners of finance go to Abuja and then it is shared. Sometimes even, in fact, most times, the current minister of finance does not even attend the meeting. So they just go, then they share. This is what came in from customs. This is what came in from FRS. Now let us put us together and share. Oh, when we sold this power plant here, this is what these are the proceeds. Yes, let us share. But that first bailout was an act of magnanimity, and we will be insincere or incorrect to say no, that the money actually belonged to the states. No, not that one. After that, ECA, other Paris Club reform, those ones, yes. That's what we are talking about.
All right, well, let's find out. At the same setting in Kogi, Minister of Solid Minerals, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, revealed that 80 billion naira had been pumped into the rehabilitation of the Ajaokuta steel complex, and then emphasized the need to get states to exploit the mineral resources in the environment as a way of boosting internally generated revenue. Revenue, rather.
For me, I'm not sure why the man feels that the government should go and pump money into the Ajaokuta thing again. Because like my former boss will always say, government has no business with business.
Yeah.
The thing should have been there, because I'm very, very sure that there are private sector people in Nigeria who will be interested in that place.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Let me take Dixon. He's here. Dixon, you're welcome.
Hi, good evening, Hangout.
How are you?
I'm fine. According to what people are discussing about the federal government is the one that caused it for them, because they have the money. They did not do federal roads in many states. Like I'm in Lagos, and Apapa 8 roads is law. It's the federal government road. I come from Akwa Ibom State. All the federal roads in Akwa Ibom State was done by Boston Aquarium. Then if you are taking the state money to work federal government roads, and let the federal government come in to say they are doing you money and they do not do their own duty, who is causing the problem for the state government?
Okay. Did you get that?
If you help them to fix their roads,
they'll refund
it's
the
a
money.
debt.
It's natural.
Fayose has received, as I read, 11 billion.
Yeah.
So it's not correct about that. You can fix those roads and expect that you'll be paid
Normally
back. Of course, people from the Federal Ministry of Works will come do verification, because we've seen states that inflated the cost of fixing federal roads. They will come, do their own due diligence, and then you get paid. It's a normal thing. Yeah. For a governor who is in the opposition, who has made a career out of abusing the president, he still got refund. And all of the efforts that are being made now to even help states to pay salaries and all that, he still gets, nobody has shunted him aside. So that is the thing. Yes, we have a system that is not good enough. But as things stand, in my view, we already have too many states. So these states ought not to have been created in the first place, you know? And I don't think if today you come up with the idea of merging those states, it will bring real problems. So how they want to survive, I don't know.
No less so if you make to increase the number of states, which...
Some are even still talking about
that.
Jebu State.
Your state, Jebu State. You know, many of you hate DIA today, because DIA could not create Jebu State.
DIA gave them a kiss now, because DIA was a citizen of Dugbulu as a capital of Jebu
you must realize why he couldn't do it, because if part of Lagos was supposed to be part of Jebu State...
No, that's not the reason.
Let me tell you, there are many reasons. Part of Lagos was supposed to be part of, including Ekpe. Remember Lagos
was in Western region.
Remember Lagos at that time, they wanted to turn.
You should remember boundary. That was the boundary. Federal and state. But let me quickly take Andrew in Ilorin. Welcome, Andrew.
Hello.
Yeah, let's go.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I want to commend every one of you. You people are doing a very good job, particularly Jide and the other guys of Mr.
That's why he's the resident president here.
Very good job, because they strengthen you to move higher in Jesus' name. So concerning this issue on this federal government, giving out, sharing allocation, sharing what comes to the federal, sharing it to the state. What I want to say, my take on this is that I feel that there are some states like Army were in Delta State. There are some areas, some localities. Some of the revenue that is coming to the state, they use it to settle some of the politicians, of which they're supposed to make that would have accrued to the state as internally generated revenue. Yeah. And they settle some of these politicians, they go away with it. By the end of the day, the state government will say, in fact, what is coming in is not even what you cannot take salary.
They have more than 208.
So I feel the state government themselves, they need to look in what they need to be sincere with themselves. Because posterity will just them one day. So please, that's just my
Many thanks. And gentlemen, we hear that in some states, as many as 400-500 people aid the government.
One governor just sacked 103 aides this week.
No, see.
No. We'll take this break, and when we come back, we take it home. Please don't tune up just yet.
Keeping his adrenaline.
Welcome back. 1.19 trillion expended on bailouts and so on. Inside 2 years plus. Question, must we continue like this? Will we continue like this? Let's take it home, Wale.
We were on IGR before the call-out called, because you're saying that there are things in some states and they should have been making some money on their own. And my response to that is still like what I said earlier. As long as there's freebies coming from Abuja, from Free Niger Delta, all money, that will continue. Because he has said some states are not viable. To me, I don't want to take that to the bank. I doubt if there is any state that is not viable. Because you look at...
Maybe you've not moved around enough.
No, you look
not
at...
moved around enough.
Wait. Just look at them as if they're a country on their own.
We are getting educated here. We are getting educated,
Yes.
but then what do you understand by the viability of a particular state?
A state should be able
away from paying salaries.
A state should be able to sustain itself in terms of not just paying salary, be able to do projects, be able to take care of its people.
Without going to the center?
Yes, without going to the center. And I doubt if there's any state in Nigeria that cannot do that if people with brains are the head of affairs in such states. That's just it. Most of these states we are talking about, look at them, they have land all over the place. One, agriculture. Two, mineral resources are there. They don't need to use their own money.
They exploit
so how many?
Can
they are
they
not the ones
exploit
that-
these
they're not-
resources?
So now,
They're not the ones that... See, there are
With the
states
law
that
in
I
place,
mentioned here.
can you really
even with
exploit?
the law, even
Yes.
if that law was not there,
Yes.
you see, people talk about agriculture so much as if merely just planting stuff, you make so much money.
Like a magic wand.
Yes, as if you make so much money.
Okay.
The truth is, even if the other day we were going to export, we exported yam, you know, and those people complained that before it got there, it came back. Now, you have everybody, every state in Nigeria has the capacity to do agriculture. Now, agriculture at best will help us, and the way we are doing it will help us to be able to feed our people, reduce our import bill. That's all. That's what it will do to us. Not to generate so much money for states.
Disagree.
How much are they going to generate?
Plenty of money for
Wale,
states.
but do you remember,
Yes.
for the sake of history now, when the mad cow disease thing broke out in Europe, it was cassava, because it was realized that cyanide in cassava did a lot in quelling it. Abia State exported cassava. Don't you remember? Maybe you
cannot make so much money. Where we can make money is from the processing of it.
Will fetch you a lot of money.
We can't make. Look at a country like Switzerland, for example. They don't grow cocoa, but they have the best chocolate in the world. So
Why?
it is from.
Because they are processing.
They will take it. They will take it from Africa. They will take it from Africa and then sell it.
Why is it that
that's
you
not what we
process
do
it?
here?
Why not?
Why not?
You don't have energy.
Even if you
says?
do it,
Yes.
can you compete?
Compete with who?
Can we
They are exporting
compete
it back
with
to
them?
us. They are
Can you
exporting back.
compete in terms of the quality
Why
of
not?
the end product?
Why not? You set standards. You see, that's the challenge we have here. We're always looking at it as if we cannot match up to these people. And if you go there, it is the same Nigerians, the same black people you'll find working there.
But you have also
Another
told
thing,
us why.
when you want to
You have
compete,
also
when you
told
want
us
to,
why, Wale,
when you want
that-
to compete in rice production, for example,
Yes.
you have to match Thailand. Thailand heavily subsidizes rice. Heavily. In fact, if a government comes to power in Thailand today, there is a big rice lobby that it has to contend with. They heavily subsidize to keep farmers busy.
What are we
You
doing with our
cannot,
Fadama
you
and the
can't,
rest
you
of it?
can't compete. You
not?
can't compete with them in rice exports. You can't compete because the heavy subsidy on it, you can't pay. That's why rice from Thailand is a lot cheaper than the one we consume here.
I disagree.
This is fact.
I
why
disagree,
is
brother. See,
there's no reason. Why is small good rice a
now.
lot cheaper than the one we sell here?
Wait now,
Are you not aware of that?
Because not many people are into it. See, the other time there was
It's not a matter of not many people. It's product. I mean, yield per hectare. Even yield per hectare in your country cannot compete.
Listen,
with
because their own research institutions, they made their researches available to those who are planting the rice here and there. How many of our universities have gone into that? How many of our research institutions?
Olawale is here to rescue us. Welcome. You are in Lagos, Olawale. Welcome.
Good evening, Citizen Jones.
I greet you.
Yeah, I greet you. We meet you. Hello?
Let's go.
Hello?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, good evening. I
Yeah.
just want to comment briefly on the inability of the state government to pay salary as long as the present system continues. Let me be frank with you. All the states are overbloated in terms of number of
Civil servants.
unneeded and unproductive staff they employ. They use it as a form of political patronage. When another set of governors come, they will bring in their people. Even chief executive of parastatals. You can see in some parastatals, some officers don't have table. They don't have schedule to do. Then, secondly, about viability of state. If you could remember, first 79 to 83, late Adekunle Ajasin had Oluwa glass in those states. They have ceramic industry in Nippon and so on and so forth. Those are the mineral resources available in those states and they use it. Okay? So most of the governors that we have now, they cannot think outside the box. They just rely on different from the federal.
Olawale, so the wahala is self-inflicted. But let me make a quick correction here. Thank you, Olawale, for calling. Oluwa, okay. All right, come on. 1.91 billion as opposed to 1.91 trillion as opposed to what I said earlier on. I just wanted to correct. Please, Wale, you will recall with glee, I'm sure, that Nigeria was once the largest exporter of palm oil. We are told by historians that Malaysia came, took seedlings. Wale, I'm sure you have heard this. Today we import from Malaysia.
Yes.
That's because there's no will.
No, that's why I disagree with him. When he was talking about subsidy, it has little to do with subsidy. It has a lot to do with providing enabling environment for these things to thrive. Yeah. In my local government, for instance, I was shocked one day. I was coming from Ijebu, driving from the other end, Aton, to enter Ikija. Lo and behold, what did I see on the road? Rice, local rice. They spread it on the road for it to dry. Okay. So you can imagine if, you understand, if there's been serious consciousness on the part of both local government and state government, to assist these people, not in the way of something as you're talking about. Already, there are a lot of schemes. There are a lot of schemes on ground to assist farmers. But those things are not getting to the right people. Whatever subsidy you are talking about, it will go to the wrong people.
No, Wale, cite Lake Rice here.
Yes.
There's heavy investment by both governments, Kebbi, Lagos.
No.
See, is that what you understand by subsidy?
No. No, that's not what I understand by subsidy.
He's trying to disprove the argument that subsidy
already
on rice
Malaysia,
from Thailand,
Thailand rice and so
makes
on.
it difficult for us to compete.
What we have on ground already is more than enough to do what we need to do.
And to export.
The problem is the implementation.
We are talking about
and
exporting now, not just to eat.
You see, when you import, it means what you have is not enough. What I'm saying is that what we have on ground in Nigeria to make these things work, rice, chocolate, and whatever, what we have on ground is more than enough to make these things work. But the thing is, our system, the way our system is structured, is what is messing everything up. There are loans that the Nigerian government, even before Buhari got there, that should have been made available to farmers and other people like that. There are things, financial things that they should have had access to. Yeah. But because of our system, the right people do not have access to this money. And that is the basis of our problem. Yeah. It's not a question of, whatever subsidy you're going to put, you just be like your petrol subsidy now. It will go into private pockets, end of story.
That's the way you understand it. Yeah. That's the way you understand it. But that's not how it works in other countries.
I'll get to you, Jide, shortly. Let's take John Inquirer. John, welcome. Are you there, John?
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, welcome.
As much as I enjoy your program. Hello, good evening.
You are on, go on.
As much as I enjoy your program, it is very educating. I would suggest to Mr. Hussein that next time you should get somebody who is on the same parallel line with Babajide instead of arguing. The argument does not make the whole thing interesting any longer as it used to be before. Thank you very much.
Okay. But we all always talk about two sides to a particular issue.
The issue is not the... I think at the end of the day, it will be clear. People can argue. I enjoy it when people argue with me.
Yeah.
When we had the first scarcity in December, I said it was not caused by hoarding. People argue with me. It took just a few days for the Minister of State to come to Senate and say, look, we have supply issues. So I'm used to people arguing. It's not an issue for me. The thing is, when we talk about subsidy, that he continues to argue stridently about, we are saying that the Thai government wants to keep those farmers busy because if they can't even sell the product, it will discourage them. And because of that, we are saying that if you choose to even start exporting rice now, you cannot compete because their own rice will come better processed. We have not reached even that level of technology. The question to ask is, why do Americans prefer Japanese cars? Is it that America is not an industrialized nation? But till tomorrow, they will still choose Japanese cars over Ford, over Chevrolet, and the rest of them, because they know that these guys are experts at making especially luxury cars. They are experts at it. So there are areas of strength that God has given you. So you need to build on your own area of strength. There are areas where you can't compete.
Are these strengths definable here?
It is very, very definable. The American one is talking about American car products are fuel guzzling cars. The Japanese, they consume little fuel.
So why haven't they been able to?
In the case of this one we are talking about, we are not talking about exporting yet. Not just yet.
That is what I said, exporting. That's what we are talking about.
Once we are able to meet local consumption, because most of the rice we import into Nigeria, they are polished rice. And polished rice is not too good for health.
Yeah.
It is the local rice that is good for health. For God's sake, what is the job of the Ministry of Information, both at the state and federal level? Let people know. Ministry of Health, let people know which one is good for your health. It is the local rice. You understand what I'm saying?
Prices are the core of this.
Then secondly, apart from that, apart from talking about information and so on, you might want to ask yourself one kind of question. Is it ofada rice they cook in Aso Rock when they have guests? Is it ofada rice they cook or lake rice they cook in Lagos Government House? You see, people tend to take a cue from what the political leaders do. When our political leaders, especially those of them who hold government offices, when they start patronizing local things, you can criticize Obasanjo for all you like. But this time you see Obasanjo go abroad, oh boy, now which is Agbada and Gobi.
And Adire, sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You understand? That is patronizing local things, trying to showcase what he has at home. By the time we do that, our population is just like that of China. Our population alone, by the time we consume what we produce here, if it is enough for us, it will greatly assist our local economy because it's going to keep a lot of people busy.
We are doing that already.
Let's take it home now.
And we are doing that already, and I can tell you, you assume that in Aso Rock they don't eat Nigerian rice. But I can tell you that rice produced in Ebonyi State, they not only consume it in Aso Rock, they even give it out now as gifts for people in December. Because by the grace of God, I have...
and hard work.
By the grace of God, BC, who used to work here, who now was at Aso Rock, sent me a bag of rice as gift from the president's wife, and it was rice from Ebonyi State. So we've gone past what we used to have in the past. We have Olam. There are now fantastic rice mills in our country, integrated rice mills that are producing high-quality rice in our country. So we are beginning to feed ourselves. No, we are beginning to do that. We are beginning to do that. Okay. I'm talking about export. That if we choose now to export, because if every state begins to produce the same rice and the rest of that, how much are they going to earn from it?
Oh, okay, then the debate won't end here because it cannot. But to expand the debate, we think at this table that bailout should be a thing of the past as soon as we possibly can make it so. And on the lighter side, the Kogi State Governor has apologized to Catholic bishops concerning what he said as a fallout of the visit.
After he denied I didn't say it.
No.
Thank God I'm no longer from the state.
Oh, come on. He has apologized. But next, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, MAN, is in the news. It has let it be known that the energy requirements of the body has hit the near 15,000 megawatts mark. In addition, a further 2,000 megawatts produced by generation companies remain stranded somewhere in the system and need to be sold to its members immediately. A reminder that the eligible customers policy of the federal government allowing the sale of stranded 2,000 megawatts of electricity to willing consumers need be activated. That's quite a mouthful. Jide, the news runs the risk of being misconstrued in many quarters. The requirement of MAN, 14,000 megawatts daily. And it is saying, and if the minister is saying 7,000 megawatts has been produced, the problem is distribution. It is the distribution problem we are saddled with.
Yeah. Now, what is happening is the distribution companies are in business to survive. They prefer to make the end product available to people they are sure will pay for it. So they are already, they look at high-end consumers, like people who live in GRA and the rest of them. So where they think that, oh, in K2, if we give them this, we supply them electricity, a lot of them are not likely to pay. They choose not to. So generating companies will supply them, transmit to what they have produced to the transmission company of Nigeria. Will generate the transmission company of Nigeria will now, you know, it's like a relay, sent to the distribution companies. But the distribution companies will now choose not to evacuate what has been sent to them because they think that they can manage with what they have. They don't want to give people electricity that they are not likely to pay for. So that's why we are capable now, from what the minister said, of generating 7,000 megawatts daily. But out of this, it's just about 5,000
they are able to
they are able to evacuate. Yeah. You know, that the distribution companies are able to evacuate. So that is the issue. And whereas manufacturers need 14,000 plus every day. So from out of this 14,000, you see clearly that a great percentage of this 14,000 is self-generated. And it is killing industry because it's expensive to generate electricity on your own. Yeah. Flour mills, for example, for many years, flour mills has been generating its electricity by itself.
And flour mills, the highest employer of labor in the country. Wale, now, many people had said, let prepaid meters come into the picture, so it would be like loading your telephone. You don't see that as a viable way out. So the discos won't keep complaining, oh, I have a choice, sending electricity to Ikoyi and deny Agege.
See, that's the tragedy of the Nigerian situation, because right now that is not happening, and I think everything has been done to discourage that from happening. If discourage prepaid meters from happening. Because if they are really serious with their business, it's like MTN or Glo telling us that the way they will meter charges is not available maybe more than 1 year after they've started business, that they'll just be giving us estimated billing. Yeah. To me, there's a lot of stealing, there's a lot of corruption going on out there in terms of how many households do not have prepaid meters. To me, I just feel it's a deliberate thing.
So who loses, who gains?
It's the consumers who loses. It's the electricity distribution companies who gains. Because in most cases, they come and disconnect your electricity. You go and check, there's no prepaid meter where they've disconnected the electricity. They just bring estimated bills there and they've not paid. Paid what?
I suffer
that. Have you estimated what I'm owing you? No. Your estimate, it cannot be correct. Because if we are to go by the correct standard, I should have a prepaid meter. Once I don't have a prepaid meter, then for God's sake, you go and sit down somewhere. But I've seen some communities along Lagos Ibadan Express, is that until they have prepaid meter, then they won't give them light. And those ones have to go and beg, bribing them to supply them with electricity. And they continue with the estimated billing system, which to me is outright stealing. If they are really serious about providing electricity, then the first thing that should have happened is this prepaid meter thing. But like I was discussing with my friend the other time, a lot of things are wrong with our system, and it has a lot to do with those who are in government. I mean, for God's sake, if you don't have the capacity to provide prepaid meters or to make it available, I see no reason why should we be given a license to operate such a company. I mean, there should be a deadline now that within so and so period, prepaid meters should be available, and you must not disconnect electricity supply to any community or any place that doesn't have it, because it is not the fault of those people that they don't have prepaid meter. It is you who should. At the point in time, we were paying for prepaid meters. We should have been free. We should have been free.
So the quagmire is here to stay, or so it seems.
Yeah, I think if we look at this from the beginning, we came up with a faulty privatization model, and which ensures that the people that benefited from the privatization, they do not have the capacity
At all.
in terms of even background
in this case,
knowledge.
Discourse.
Yes.
Even not just discourse, even the generating companies. They do not have the capacity. They don't have the requisite financial wherewithal, to take electricity generation in Nigeria to the next level, because it is extremely capital intensive. But these ones, the federal government first gave them a bailout in excess of 100 billion. They asked for another bailout. Now, we want to make money available to them to also be able to provide prepaid meters. Prepaid meters should have, even before they rolled out, they should have had prepaid meters. But even if they had prepaid meters, it's not enough, because already the World Bank estimates that the cost, what you need, the investment that you need in our power sector is so high that even Nigerian banks put together, over a period of 10 years, they can't find the money. So what in my view, we should have done was to leave this thing open, let the General Electrics of this world and others come in. They have the capacity, they have the know-how. But at the end of the day, who are the people who benefited from this privatization? Bankers, who are the people who today own generating companies. They've never been in that line of business until now. Because they do not have sufficient capital, it has blocked their own capacity to even expand the business. So, and if you can't expand the business over a period of time, you will have this problem of supply inadequacies that we are facing now. Because if manufacturers are saying, oh, we need 14,000 megawatts a day, how about the rest of us? You and I. I've not had a light in my house for 3 days now, not even for a minute. I've not had light.
And you are burning.
Yes, and you now
gas.
have to, your generator, you put on generator at all times, So it's a problem, it's a sector that we need to look at and find a way to solve the problem. What is the point in jubilating over our capacity to generate maybe 10,000 or even 7,000 when we can't distribute
and distribute.
We can't distribute what we generate. Even the transmission companies, their equipment needs to be freshened up.
Yeah.
Somehow. A lot of the transformers are bad, So we can't achieve much without having a holistic look at the whole power generation structure.
All right, Wale, we must take it home by going from the top. How do you take it home? From where we started.
Okay. You're talking about...
Talked about bailout and
bailout,
dovetail into this as we go home now.
No, I would like to take it from the bottom up.
Okay.
I sincerely pity Mr. President, because to take Nigeria to the level where we should be as a country, the first thing is provision of electricity. I was going to believe that within his first 3 months, maximum 6 months in being in office, he will have reviewed the privatization of not just the electricity distribution companies, but the generation companies too. Because if you have 24 hours regular supply of electricity in Nigeria, my God, things will change radically in this country. I'm telling you, in terms of employment and so many other things, a lot of things will change. But unfortunately, that's way out of it now. On the other one, you are talking about bailout fund for states. If it's going to stop, we've got to restructure Nigeria. Without restructuring, all this mess will continue. It is restructuring first, second, and third. Restructure Nigeria, take Nigeria back to where we were when we got independence.
Where we missed our way.
Yes, that's just it.
You did?
Yeah, I think that we need to look at the structure of Nigeria once again. There are many things that need to change. The constitution has to be amended before we can effect some of the changes that we want. For example, states should be able to generate and distribute power, you know. Some states do not really need more than 200 megawatts. They should be able to produce
my state at the independent power plant in Ikorobasi, somewhere in Ikorobasi, Akwa Ibom, generates 109 megawatts, and we are told by the experts the state does not need more than 50, 60 megawatts.
Or you generate it and then it's sent to the national grid.
And
then it gets distributed to you. No, that's what even in Kwara, Bukola Saraki did it, but it gets fed into the national grid and we have to be distributed to other areas. I think that law has to change.
It has to change.
That law has to change. If it changes, then states will develop at their own pace. At that time, we will see clearly those states that are not viable.
That is the right
all right, then.
States should develop at their own pace.
And pace.
Yeah, I mean at their own pace.
Okay then, and the debate take it further afield, but it's all about Nigeria. Time is of the essence. That's all on the show, but let me thank Wale Adedaya for coming. Please keep coming.
You're welcome.
As often as you possibly can. And Babajide Kolade Otitoju, many thanks for your time. That's it on the program today. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode. Watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on other platforms showing on the screen and on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye for now. See you tomorrow.